If you've ever scraped something in Ubot using scrape attribute, or used a command like type text, then you've interacted with the Ubot Selector language. But what you probably didn't know is that this selector language has many features long forgotten about. Knowing these secrets can help unlock the potential of Ubot Studio itself. And over the next couple of videos, I'm going to show you these secrets. I know this sounds crazy, and to be honest, I'm not sure why this stuff isn't really documented anymore. Perhaps there is a reason some of these options are not shown to us, but who knows. That being said, these videos are more geared towards advanced users. However, if you're new here, then don't worry, we have lots of content for you, like our new course, Ubot Studio Mastering the Fundamentals. It's a 4-week course to help kickstart your Ubot career. A link is in the description below. Did you know that the Advanced Element Editor has a hidden match type? Let me show you what I'm talking about. If we open the Advanced Element Editor, you'll see that there's normally 3 match types. There's an exact match, a regular expression, and a wildcard. But actually, there's a 4th one as well. It's the contains match type. And in order to use this, you'll need to select your attribute and be sure that the exact match type is selected. So I'm going to select the tag name here. Then, after the equals sign, but before the quote sign, in the selector code, put a C. And then modify the code to be whatever you want the attribute to contain. So in this case, I might want to say that the tag name should contain the word in. And as you can see, our matches changes. If I type out input in full, you'll see that we have 8 matches. And if I get rid of put, you'll see that now all of a sudden we have 19 matches. And if I were to perhaps scrape the tag name, like so, and run this, you can see all the different matches, and I can actually add this to a list instead. And you'll see that once we do not delete the duplicate items, we have 19 matches now. So when you use this contains, once again, you put it after the equal sign and before the quotes. That's where you put the C. And you hit OK, and you'll notice that it populates the selector input field automatically. That's what the Advanced Element Editor is for. It's to be able to help you write this code. Now, when you hit OK, that C is actually going to disappear. But don't worry, when you go back to edit it, you'll see that it's there again. This is similar to how the regular expression operator and the wildcard operator work as well. So those will disappear as well, but they show up again once you edit it. Now you should know that you don't need to use the Advanced Element Editor to include this. That just helps you select an attribute and makes creating the code easier. You can directly use this along with other match types by typing in the selector code yourself. So once again, we can get rid of this and paste it in here if we wanted to, and that's totally valid. And you can come in here and directly modify the selector code. It just must be valid. You can't leave it invalid or you'll get an error. So lastly, there's one more thing worth noting about using this contains. If you're worried that you're not going to remember all of this, something that you can do instead is use a wildcard, and you can use multiple stars like so. So I can now delete the PUT, and it's the same thing as using contains. So I could use either this, or I could change it to back to be exact match and use a C and get rid of these stars. And it's doing essentially the exact same thing, like so. So if you're worried about remembering all this, you can use a wildcard with the stars on either side instead. Now for this next one, I want to go to a different page. And now I want to select one of these input fields and open the Advanced Element Editor. There's one more hidden feature of the Advanced Element Editor. You can actually use a third comparison option which is not listed. So after you select your first attribute, in this case I'm just going to select tag name and then select another to add another attribute by clicking on this plus sign here. Now in the options dropdown for your comparisons, we have an and we have an or option. And there's actually a third one. It's called and not. So what you do to use this is you can select the and option here, and you can then type not after here. So first of all, I'm gonna leave it to be and to show you what this looks like. So first of all, I want the tag name to be input, and then I want the type to be text. And you can see that we have 4 matches. Now, if I get rid of this type equals text, we have 15 matches. So keep that in mind. 15 tag name inputs and 4 tag name inputs and type equals text. So now what happens when I type not is it gets rid of all of the type text, and now we're left with 11 which are not of the type text. And I can hit OK, and I can scrape the type, in this case I would want, and we can see that we'll get 11 matches, but none of them now are type text. So that's a cool and a very useful comparison option that's not listed in the options there. And along with the rest of this stuff that I'm teaching you in this series, you can also directly type this right into the selector input field right here. So let's just go over a few more brief examples of this stuff. I'm just going to randomly pick some things on the page. I actually kind of like this input since we're on this form here. So let's go ahead and pick this input and see what else we can do. So right away I see that the name and the ID both contain this very weird CTL00. So let's see what we can do with that. I can take this name, and what I can do is after the equal sign I could put a C for contains, and I can actually get rid of the rest of this and see what happens. And it looks like when we do that, we now get 5 matches. And we can just maybe select the name attribute and see what happens. And it looks like we get the username, password, first name, last name, and about me, which actually are the form elements. So that's kind of something interesting that maybe you can do with the contains. Let's select another field, and maybe in this one we want to do a name, once again, contains that. However, maybe we don't want the username. So what we can do is we can say and name contains, and once again we can get rid of everything but the username, and then we can type a not after this. And what we need to do actually in the first one is we need to make sure we're saying the name only contains this CTL00, and then it does not contain the username. And so instead of getting these 5 examples now, we will get the first, or the last 4, I should say, instead. So there's some really brief examples. Of course, this is something you're absolutely going to have to play around with on your own to get better at it. So yeah, that's been the first 2 hidden features of the selector input language. And that's going to do it for this video. Originally, I was going to make this into one long video, but I think it's better to make a few shorter videos that are easier to digest. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you liked this video and want to see more. And don't forget to check out elitebotters.com for more. Thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.